Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour, our Friday reading show. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all having a great day. And we are in the second week of August. It just goes by so fast. I'll be saying that for a while for some, like, here we are. I want to go into the topic of the day in a moment, and we'll be talking about symbols and signs and diving into actually how you can decipher that for yourself, whether it is with a certain modality that you feel attached to, you start to explore, your spirituality. So that will be the topic of the day we'll be talking about in just a moment. Welcome, Pamela. Hello, Jessie Cat. And this is the reading show episode. So if you have a question or if you would like to have a reading, pop down your numbers. And that's how I get a lot of information of someone's energy, their numbers, or pop down, your question. I'll pull some cards, or I will do a mini numerology reading, and we'll see what surfaces. And away we'll go with that. So please. I will be talking, and then you can jot your question down, and then that way you actually get your question in early, because as the show starts building up, I just take whatever I'm very drawn to naturally and intuitively. And that's really how it goes. So, okay, so symbols and symbology, they are really all around us and in many forms. And I think one of the most helpful forms that is really just made to be a symbol right in our face is when we're first introduced to oracle cards. And I use oracle cards as like a practice space for myself, or like a quick check-in. I'll use them sometimes in my readings. It's almost like when I put a deck beside of me, it's weird because I barely even touch it. I might be inspired to pull like one card or just a moment of like a couple cards, but I'm kind of too distracted with the numbers of a person or the feelings or thoughts and pictures I get of a person. But hey, there has been some weeks where I have been more card geared, and I want to encourage you that the way that we read as intuitives, it changes. And that's why it's so important to look into different skills. It's so important to just naturally feel through what you gravitate to, because I love working with cards. It's almost like I'll use it, but the frequency of how I use it is different to other card readers. I use numerology much more. I use, my clairs much more. And that's just the way I find myself doing and being. Cards are so fun though. And I want to encourage you, if you are looking for a card course, I am doing a card course at the end of the month, August 28th or 29th. It's a one-day 2-hour class. The cool thing is if you sign up for the Sunday or the Monday date, you can come to either date for free, as long as you sign up for one. So it's like you could get 2 for 1 if you can come to both dates, or you're just going to attend one if you are curious. And it's a really cool class. It's all about creating cards, and I've talked about that. I have my own card deck, and this is like what I encourage you to do to get in touch with your symbols. If you want a more intimate relationship with your symbols, you don't have to wait to buy a deck. I do think buying the deck gives you a cornerstone, and reading a booklet sometimes does give you guidance in how people create oracle systems, angel cards, tarot, what other systems that they made with symbology. And that's like really what it is. Like, symbols are all around us. The spirit world gives us symbols, whether they're dropping a penny or they're giving us a picture or a feeling. Everything's happening all around us, and we can tap in at any time. It's just there's these certain systems where we can play off of a symbol's consistency, and that's why you have astrology, numerology, right? You have like these systems that help us go in a little bit more cerebral way, and that's kind of like, I just want to give that to you. The more that you have a system, like cards even, and just open up your mind for this, the more it's like you are working with the mind, and the less you let go of cards or like numerology or astrology, the more you surrender the mind, because the symbols become more and more abstract, and they don't have pattern to them, right? So it's fun to do both. I think both can be just as helpful, both can be just as insightful. Anything that's spirit led is the way to go, but symbols actually really help us to start to get familiar with that world. I know that I always had a deck that I was working with when I was first beginning, and I would start to make my own like spreads for it, and I would just like play around and document, like, okay, like I got cards on these days, what did this mean? And then I'd go back and flip back a couple weeks or a couple months ago, okay, what's the validation connected to this? And the biggest thing is that there's all these different types of decks. So like there's the psychic tarot. This was actually my first card deck, the Psychic Tarot. The Intuitive Soul cards, I have much more around. And I was really attracted to like the picture. I've talked about this. I was really attracted to the picture. It's like really pretty, and maybe the word psychic, right? Psychic hour. I've talked about that. So there was a reason I was attracted to it. And you have to honor, like, what you gravitate, what you're attracted to. When I started playing with the cards, it did teach me things, but for whatever reason, I don't resonate with that deck particularly. I don't resonate with the symbology. And so that's why it's so important to find cards that you resonate with. I have an angel deck. I always forget the name of this. I was gifted this, that's why. And I love this deck, and I actually will use it as a quick go-to, but this is not one of the decks that, let's say, calls to my soul the most. It calls to my soul more than the other deck I just pulled out. But I'll use this like if all of a sudden if I'm feeling connected to this deck, or if I just like want a quick pull on like just a little bit of a clarifier card, like I'll just pick a couple of these, and it'll give me just like a very simple, I don't know, way that I can just go with the energy. I'm much more attracted to the cards that I've created, and I'm much more connected to, I'll pull it out again, like Lisa Williams' deck, the Intuitive Soul cards, and I'm connected to a lot of Colette Byrne-Reed's cards. I really love her symbology, and it's just my preference. Everyone has different preferences, and there's no right one way. If you feel like you're getting a lot out of a certain deck, then that is the deck for you. And that's what we'll like be going over within the class. Honestly, there's a reason why a deck actually has the potential to be great, and there's also a reason on why we're personally connected to it. And it's just based on things like color, words, structure, the amount of symbology in each card, and there's a way to actually look into that and understand how you can create that and what to look for exactly. If you are asking yourself, well, how can I make the best card, or how can I find cards that maybe give me more of what I'm looking for? Okay, so yeah, like someone's talking about, love the subject of creating your own cards, Pamela. That's me. I like pictures and drawings. It needs to bring my attention to colors. Yeah, for some people, like, they're all about the words. They love the pictures, but they just read the words in readings. And then there's other people that ignore the words and they just read the picture. It's really interesting how everyone has a different way of reading. And so there are different card tool creations for different people depending on how their energy works. So it's not one size fit all per, like we said, how people are attracted to the decks. And it's not one size fits all how people would create their own cards. People would create their cards differently depending on what symbology they're connected to. Information of this class is it's really affordable. It's $65 for 2 hours, whether you take one class or you can go to both classes. You have it's just one price, whether it's a 2-for-1 or it's designed for one day, but I honor people if they can come for the extra day. And you can find all the information on my website, energeticsessions.com. It will be on my Facebook today, and it will be on Instagram and all platforms. So if you want, an access point to that, but it's under Kelly Brickle, my website, and that's energeticsessions.com. And so everything's up, like the payment links up, all the description of the class, the dates, the times, if you want to know more about the class. So come on by. We already have a couple of people in class. It's going to be really fun. It's designed also to practice. So there's going to be time for card creation, and then we're going to be going into breakouts, and there's going to be mini practice sessions where you can start to practice with your cards and other people practice with the cards they just create. So you're in a fresh boat situation, and you're learning, what cards are your favorite. You're learning, to push yourself of, wow, I just learned another meaning for my card that I didn't quite expect. And and it's a chance to create a couple cards to contribute to your new deck. So there you go. There you go. And so, the last thing I'll say, so it's the card creation and readings class. That's what it's called, and it's at the end of August, and I'd love to have you because it's super fun. It's like it's a psychic development class, but it's all about cards. It's so fun, seriously. So the way that I read, I mix my decks up. I might have this around, I might have this around. There's not a one size fit all to how I go. There's no rules. There's only the rules that you make, and then you can break them. But they're dependent on your own rules, right? You just got to go with the flow. Okay, so we're going to get into readings. Take a sip. I'm going to change my light bulb. Yesterday, I thought I had it fixed, and it was working when I was first here, and then it just conked out again. So I'm just aware that it's a little darker than normal in here. I'm like, that's so strange. Hi, Tina. Hi, Tracy. Oh, she's saying happy birthday. That's very sweet. My birthday's actually tomorrow. Isn't that crazy? It's almost like I forget and I don't forget at the same time. I keep forgetting tomorrow's my birthday. It's so funny. And hello, Deborah. And hello, everyone coming in. Hello, Kevin. Hello. So everyone, if you are interested in the class, just go to my website. It's all up there. Okay. Away we go. Oh, thank you, Deborah. I appreciate it. It's been a busy week. I feel bright. Sometimes, you wake up and you're like, I feel good. But wow, I get up, my body is a little tired. Isn't that funny? Oh, that's a great conversation too. That's a great topic. So the spirit and the body work together, especially in this realm. And so your spirit actually can be on time for spiritual involvement, spiritual advancement, and it can actually be having these incredible moments, right? But then your body is not on time to match it. And you'll have like a series of wah, 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 wah. And then you have the opposite too. Someone's body is ready to go to the next level. Like it just becomes empathetic, hypersensitive. It starts like getting all these hits, right? And you get these like sensations within the body, right? Because the body starts becoming this really adhered tool. Um, but yet the mind and the way that it connects to spirit or the emotional realm in your body is not quite ready to understand what to do with it all. So it's really interesting how our body and our spirit really has to work together for us to feel the brightest, even though I do feel bright. My body is like a little tired, isn't that? So it's an interesting subject, but it's so true. Okay. Yeah, it has to do with alignment, and we're on different cycles for alignment, that's for sure. And that's why a lot of people, when they get into spiritual development, I keep saying this is the last thing I'll say, but it's really important. When people get into spiritual development, like they have a lot of setbacks. Whether it's personal, whether it's health wise. And it's because the alignment issues within the body start surfacing. And we have to be very consistent or very grounded to hold energy and to consistently connect within readings. And so what happens is we're aware of like, why am I not getting things? Or, why I was able to do this last week, but not this week. And it's because we're having inconsistencies within our alignment, and that's okay because on one hand we're growing, so that's 100% natural. It's actually very normal. But can our ego weather that storm? And so that the ego alignment that starts to surface, that's when the spiritual self and our bodies really have to have this conscious alignment of surrender and continuing. But additional things within our energy will surface, like karmic issues or people around us. And it all comes back to alignment. Is our emotional and mental and spiritual self matured to a certain point to handle the onslaught of change? And is our body healthy enough to take on the onslaught of change too? Because the more sensitive we become, the reason why I use the word onslaught is it does feel like there's a heaviness, not because it's negative. There's a heaviness because there's a new weight of responsibility. The body is changing. Your consciousness is changing. And it's almost like when you're climbing the mountain, the altitude gets higher, and the weight on the body's not used to those type of conditions. And you're climbing the mountain higher and higher, and you're like, right? So in the physical world, we have the mountain as that pinnacle of, wow, this journey is really hard. I'm out of breath. I don't know if I can do this. But then you're very clearly seeing the mountain in front of you, and you're like, I have to get to the top. And, like you can motivate yourself with that tangible thing right in front of you, that immovable thing that just is there. And you're like, I have to be like the mountain. I have to be like as strong as the mountain. It's right before me. It's immovable. My goal has to be immovable. Well, with spirit, it's very, flexible. It's very, the conditions are ever changing with how it applies. With others, of course, there's an eternal truth at hand, of course. But and it's all about faith. And so you're tested like the mountain, and you're out of breath, but you don't know where it's coming from, why it's happening to you. Your ego is flaring up. The things that you're putting all your time and your energy into, that in normal situations you would see tangible progress, or you would have some type of goal that you can measure. And within this development, it doesn't really go like that. Yeah, of course, a teacher can guide you with some type of measure, a little bit more, with more focus, but it's all up for grabs. Of course you progress, of course you grow, but with nothing that obvious in front of you, it will feel like you're backpedaling, and you can feel the exact opposite. And so that's why a lot of people with the issue of alignment being tested and stretched, a lot of people burn out, or it takes multiple years for us to find some type of stability within our spiritual gifts. Like it can take 5-10 years for us to find a grounding in our spiritual gifts, and that's actually very normal because it is quite a difficult task, and the spirit has to grow, the body has to grow. The body is the vessel for the spirit. So, oh my gosh, I'm talking too much. Will I have more classes later in the months or just this one? Yeah, I actually plan to have another card class coming up, a numerology class coming up again. And then I have the clairvoyance class coming up in October. So the clairvoyance class is already up on the website, and some people are already on that. And as the months progress, yes, more card numerology and even like a psychic circle. So yes, 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 yes. Pamela, you didn't think of it that way. The ego needs to get aligned. Also, thank you for speaking on this, going through stuff. I love how you speak. Thank you so much. I appreciate you loving how I speak. I'll take that to heart. Thank you so much. Yep. The ego really surfaces. I mean, the ego. See, I can keep talking. Oh my gosh! As soon as you say something, I'm just like, oh, speaking of. But yeah, the ego comes up within spirituality because we're so open as children, right? We're incredibly open as children. A lot of people had spiritual experiences with spirit experiences, with just knowing things. Not everyone did, but some people, that was just a very honest and natural time for them when they were children. And so as they grew up, the ego is there for a reason, to protect ourselves. And so life happens, whether mom and dad say, what are you looking at, what are you talking about, that doesn't make any sense. Or let's say your friends are like, I don't see colors around people, I don't see colors when I close my eyes, oh, you're weird. Or within the world that maybe something that you want to do doesn't exist, and so you just suppress it and stuff it down. The ego, whether it's an emotional state or a thought, right, a dream, a hope, it will protect that. And so when we're spiritually developing, we are shedding the skin of who society created us to be, our parents created us to be, maybe out of love and protection. They didn't know, right? And then we're just getting back to the core of who we are, that the innocence of who we are. Like, spirit really brings us back to our innocence. It's a playful, very positive vibration. It's incredibly strong and powerful. It is not less of that. It's just all inclusive. It is strong, it is mighty, it is forceful, but it's also playful and gentle and innocent. And so these qualities of, our spiritual force and our spiritual power, but also our innocence and our playfulness, those have to, we have to return to that, and those have to fall away. And yes, a lot of imbalances within our ego will surface that either help us or complicate the way that we open up and find our journey. Okay, so yeah, let's jump to readings. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I gotta talk about it. Okay, so we will go, and also we are doing the live reading. So if anyone wants to come on and have a live reading, because we're doing the comments, and we're also having people in, like last week, if they want to come on screen, whether it's audio or video, and get a reading that way, you're more than happy to. We're still testing that out, right? First week was last week. So Pamela is the first one to put her numbers up, and she's talking about relationships or selling the house. Okay. doing the math. All right, just double checking the math. Yep, that's right. Okay. So Pamela, so the first thing that came like flying off the page is, you don't like to wait. And that makes sense because you're a double 5. Waiting is not something in your repertoire, naturally at least. And so this is a time frame where either it's meant to be or it takes a moment before it's meant to be. And with the house situation, I am seeing a theme of, so we're in a cycle 2. And so a cycle 2 is all about kind of hunkering down and processing. It's about, sitting with your emotions a little bit more. It's about processing the past. And what an interesting time to process the past when we are considering moving. We have to move all of our stuff out. We have to, put everything in boxes or give things away. And we're actually clearing our energy out of the house so someone new can come in and occupy it. And sometimes with energy, it is, how can I put that? With energy, sometimes it stays in the house. It's not fully ready to leave. And so with your cycle 2, it's letting me know that in order to help the sale of your house go faster, because I do feel like there's kind of some slowness around this, that to completely devote yourself to clearing out your house, making peace with the house. So if there's like a couple more projects that still need to happen, because you can get away with like staging your house and keeping some things around or putting some things in the closets. But it's like, how much have you let go of things? Like, I know you're ready to sell it, but how much have you gone through and let go of things? And so to do that on a deeper level, because you're going to be putting the energy of, I've processed what I'm letting go and I'm ready to move on. And so whether you are donating items or whether you create boxes to throw away because maybe just no one could use those things, you are energetically saying, I am moving energy, thus I will be moving my energy. Right? So that's really, really important, because the theme that is going to be present is like you processing things. And so the energy of holding on is going to be stronger this year. It might cause you to kind of distract yourself at times and be like, oh, I've taken care of that. But really, have you taken care of just the basics, but not the details? If you were to look at your items, there's probably a lot of stuff that you didn't really truly look at. You kind of just clumped it together, or like, you're like, this can go to the next house, no worries. This has been with me for years. This is just going to come to the next house. Does it really have to? And to be in the energy of letting go, because the karma of that 2, and 2 is a very difficult number if you have double 5s, will create more weight and it will slow down the sale of that house. So I encourage you to be in the energy of letting go. The last thing I'll say on it, I say that phrase way too much. The last thing I'll say on it is, I know people in various cycles with, various number configurations. And sometimes I feel like, oh, you're really holding on to this house. It's time to move around the furniture. It's time to, create more donation bags than you expected. It's time to pump music through the air. Create a new vibration through the air, like saging, essential oils. What you're doing is you're creating movement in the air. That's movement in the house because you want to move out. And it completely changes the way that people actually feel like the house is ready, and they energetically see the house, and they energetically are drawn to the house in a way that they would have overlooked or overseen, because they would have energy felt it was occupied and still someone else's. Now, I actually feel like you are ready, and it's not going to be as much of an obstacle to sell the house. I feel like the energy is actually good to sell the house, but I feel like it's going to be great if you do some of the things we talked about. It will charge that up on another level because you are meeting the moment of emotionally processing and going a little bit deeper with how you're letting go with the house and making fresh new space. And that fresh new space is going to be magnetic for selling the house. Okay. Let's see. So Jessie Cat, let's see, 6'2". She's asking, where do you see me in the future, Kelly? I have to sneeze all of a sudden. Woo, bless me. I think that's the first time I sneezed on camera. There's a first for everything. Jeez. I wonder if that has something to do with the reading. How are your allergies, Jessie Cat? I've never sneezed on camera. I have no idea what that means. That sneeze. All right. So, personal day, and we have the life path. Okay, yeah, that's right. So, what is your cycle? Okay. Okay. Just looking at the energy. So, Jessica, you have a lot of talents at your disposal. You're a very perceptive person, and you appreciate quality. And so you're a type of person that, as long as you are connected to something, you can pick it up quite well. And your attitude 8. So anytime I see someone with an attitude 8, they're natural perfectionists. And they take sometimes a little bit more time with things because they want to do it right. Excellence is very important to them. So as long as you attach yourself to something that supports you, like the people support you, and you have interest in what you're doing, you can actually soar. If you're kind of just in a situation for money purposes, or you're just like, well, I guess I'm here for a moment, why not? The fact that you want to do things right and well, if you don't have that extra energy foundation in place, what people will do is they go, can't you go faster? Or can you do it a different way? Or they almost like they don't really value how much of a good job that you want to do. They don't value your talents. They don't even see your potential. And it's actually really aggravating, I can imagine, and it will create actually some setbacks in motivation, or even within the goals of where you want to be. That's why you maybe even took the job, because you're like, okay, I have to be here, and so I have a moment where I have to fill that space. And so what I'm trying to say to you is, don't push yourself because you think you need to meet a certain goal or a deadline. Don't push yourself because let's say you're like, well, but gotta keep going, or this is going to be a means to an end. That's what I'm trying to say. And when someone has an 8, it's really, 8 is the number of truth. So if you're not in the place that you're supposed to be, what happens is it starts backfiring on you. Whether the environment backfires on you, where you just feel really stressed out when you're there, or the people start backfiring on you. It could be in slow or fast ways, just a heads up. And so you have to be really in truth with what is on your spiritual path, not just what is on the path of you making money, or the path of, I guess, what looks good on a resume, or what furthers, again, the means to the end of whatever, like, let's say you need in front of you. There needs to be that bigger picture. The cycle 5 you're in, so we're talking about the future. The cycle 5 you're in is a really, really good chance to change this year. So if you are looking for a new style of job, this is the year to do it. And yet last year was about planting the seeds for that. And cycle 5 is like, I'm ready. Let's go let's get the change. And so it's great because cycle 5 people usually interview well. Okay. Take those concepts though when you're applying it to something different as you are, and away you'll go. Ultimately, you're going to wear your heart wherever you go and give it the best shot. It's just, I want you to be fully supported when you make those jumps and those leaps, and it'll actually make you feel more positive, and there'll be less to forgive and less to forget and more to build on and more power and ascension to have. And so I want to give that to you. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, Jessica is asking, isn't it your birthday today? Tomorrow's my birthday. Tomorrow's my birthday. I just clicked something. I turn 34 tomorrow. 33. 33 is such a interesting number in numerology too. So I had a very good year of 33. So I'm very curious about how 34 will go. Very curious. So we're celebrating by going out to eat for my birthday with family and a friend. And it's like a nice French restaurant. They appreciate good food. I'm bougie with my cooking and my food. I don't have I don't have to have the bougie. I really like the bougie, don't get me wrong, but I'm like really big with like value and bougie. So I'll go like, oh, I know how much this is supposed to cost. I'll do it if it's like exceptional, but if it's not exceptional, I refuse to pay the cost. Like I'm really weird like that because like I research like what ingredients are, and some of the times I cook it myself at home. So I'm just like, I could cook this myself at home. So if I'm paying something, it better be good. But ultimately I love quality. So yeah, I'm a huge food researcher. My goodness. Like everything in the mile radius of like 20 miles, like if it's a good restaurant, I probably know about it. I have like over 600 restaurants just in Yelp that I research, and just even when I go to different cities, I have a list. It's crazy. I don't need to go there, but it helps. Again, it helps open up my energy, stimulate my energy, and know the precedence of quality and good food. So then I'm energetically connected, and no matter if I go there or somewhere else, I'm gonna get good food. It is in my favor. That's how I like to think. Okay. I'm the same. Well, happy early birthday again. Very cool. Thank you. Oh, thank you. And your daughter's birthday is on Sunday. Happy birthday to your daughter, Pamela, coming up. Yay for Leos, right? And happy birthday to your little sister that she just had her birthday on the 8th. 23 is a good year too. All right. Jesse's asking, will you have more classes of the cards later in the next month? I think I already answered that. Yes, I already answered that. Good afternoon. Oh, I guess I'm getting back to all the messages that lagged on me. Thank you for the reading. Great. All right, Tracy, let's take some of your numbers. So interesting. Okay, now I'm scrolling right. All right. Because all of a sudden I was like, why is it not scrolling? And then I was led to Tracy. So you got to trust where spirit leads you. So Tracy, here we go. 1217. Should like a reading, whatever spirit is guiding you to share with me. Okay, let's do it. Personal day is 8. Your attitude is 2, and your life path is 5, I believe. Let's double check. 8, 3, 2. Yep. Okay. And you're in a cycle of a lot of people are in cycles of 5, I'm seeing, but not Tracy. Tracy is in a cycle of 8, but she has the life path 5. I'm coming into contact with a lot of 5 energies lately. It's I always like talking about how numbers cluster together and there's themes. So for Tracy, you are a person that really has to honor the sensitivities within your body. You're an attitude 2. So anytime someone's an attitude 2, they need a little bit more time to recharge. If you are a lover of people and want to be around others, be there. It's just, this sounds funny, but take a little longer in the bathroom. Why not? Find an area to go walking. Encourage others actually to do something more based in nature to help you let the energy lift off your body, because what happens is 2s are very naturally empathetic and they're very connected to emotional energy, whether emotional energy you get as an empath or emotional energy that you feel within others or emotional energy with an environment. Okay, so they'll always kind of feel when they're with others not quite like themselves. That's a very profound thing to state, because the other numbers, they do not experience energy quite like that. A 2 actually will not fully feel like themselves always because they're so empathetic. So it's important that you have a moment to step away sometimes when you're with friends or family. It's important that you have a chance to actually have some type of practice, whether it's yoga, meditation, or again, walking every morning, where you can get grounded into your own energy, and it will help you make clearer decisions and to be sharper and to have more energy to do the things that you want to do, rather than kind of feeling like, I feel sometimes you feel like you're like, I'm so tired, or sometimes you feel like overwhelmed, but it's not like rational. You'll just be like, oh, like, I wanted to do this. Like, you're aware of maybe some things that you wanted to do, or even going to a store, maybe even to pick up something you want to get or need to get, but you're just like, okay, I'm going to do it. But the reason why there's kind of that at times is because there's some of that burning out happening from that attitude to energy. And when someone's a 2 and a 5, so you're both, those are opposites in numerology. What happens is life is kind of like it's going to be a natural roller coaster. You're going to have these highs and lows, and these highs and lows, and you're going to be like, why do I feel so great sometimes and I feel so burnt out other times, right? It's almost kind of like what do you call it? Like a depressant and stimulant is your energy. All right, it goes. And again, that's not a normal energy expression for a lot of people, but it's normal for you. And so it's about living life to the fullest. And all you have to do is just kind of ground your energy and be healthy. And then you can actually feel when your body is about to kind of be burnt out, but then you can be free and do what you need to do. So I encourage you to look into your health and just ground your energy and find practices where you can feel stronger within yourself. And then you can be freer with how you approach things, because you've given back a little time and energy to yourself. Thus, why you won't feel burnt out later on, because you've already corrected the problem before it occurs. Okay, so that's what I give to you with that. Tracy, oh, you hit the nail on the head, and nature does recharge my soul. Yeah, for I'm glad you understand that, Tracy. So with 2s and 7s, nature is very, very important. It really is. It breaks up the busyness in the body and the emotional realm of how you can hold on to things, and or like for 7s too, they have like a lot of mental energy, and it just kind of sits in their body, right? And it breaks that up. Nature breaks it up. Nature is good for everybody, but it's very, very rejuvenating for certain numbers. Like it clears and heals on a certain capacity. Okay, so Deborah. You are an attitude 9, and all of a sudden started jumping on me. Sometimes the comments move. I go, oh, where are you? Right? Okay, attitude 9, personal day 1, and life path think you're life path 9 too. Let me just double check. Okay. Yep, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't write it down. That's what happens when, I'm jumping around too much. Okay, so Deborah, you're an attitude 9 and you are in a cycle of 6. And so what's important, Deborah, this year is to really pay attention to family and friends in a way that you are looking on how you're emotionally affected by these relationships. And so 6 it's a very protective number, 6. So it's a very maternal number. And so it's like, how do I protect my home? How do I protect my energy? How do I protect my friends? How do I protect my family? And sometimes I have to protect myself first in order for me to protect others. And so it's about managing energies, but they're very emotional, close energies to the heart. And these considerations are not just somebody, let's say, that you maybe work with. These are considerations of the heart with those. I'll have to sneeze again. Excuse me. What is going on today? These are considerations of the heart with people that are in your life more frequently. Like you talk to them on the phone more frequently. People are reaching out to have lunch with you. People are reaching out to, have a girls' night with you. How do you surround yourself? And are these relationships uplifting or draining? And so when someone is in a cycle 6, it's all connected to one's health. And it's kind of like, hey, our emotions and how things are processing within our body with stress or happiness is affecting systems within our body. And so 6 is always like kind of the time where you have to start to really look at how healthy your life is. And it's usually dependent on the quality of people in it. Not always, but a lot of times it really does depend on that. And as you go into the next 2 years, so cycle 8, things kind of ramp up. And so if you haven't been paying attention to your health, you'll get more and more warning signs. So 6 is the year to take an inventory to see, if you're protected, right? If your daily habits and the people that you surround yourself really help you make the most of life and how to course correct for that. And so, yeah, I encourage you to go to the doctor. 6 is, looking at how much we are overworking ourselves, how much that we are expending ourselves, whether with others because we go above and beyond in the name of love for friends and family, or how we're being supported back. Okay. So you have double 9s. And so you really live your life like in accordance to people. You have this very natural sense of right and wrong. And 9s are very empathetic as well. So sometimes, they have a very natural sense of right and wrong, but they operate from a gray area mostly because life is above right and wrong. They're just like, okay, but they have this very natural sense of it. That's what I'm trying to say. And, a 9, the issue is always boundaries, okay? Letting too many people in, letting people, do a little bit too much or giving people a little bit too much time. And 9 is about kind of forgiving others for doing that, but also it's about stepping up in your energy so you can maintain, because the more you maintain, the more that you can give back. And so the cycle of 6 encourages you to do that with more like active justice, right? To know that you're not being mean, you're not being cynical, you're not casting people out, you're just making wiser decisions. And that's what people do when they grow. They make better decisions. And I'm going to give you that. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense, Deborah. Okay. Yes, still work on own a business and have clients. I'm a working professor. Okay, so she's saying, cool. She's saying bless you. And so I'm talking about kind of like in a relationship sense, but it's also in a work sense, okay, too, because you're mentioning you kind of want some emphasis on work. And so, Deborah, I want you to think about the type of clients that you attract and the way that you go above and beyond for people. So some of the things that I've said, I want you to apply that into the way that you deal with clients and you let people into your life. So again, the more we grow, the better decisions that we make of what we allow and who we allow, and we set up energetic standards so we can most effectively help people. And that's great. This is a really good year for you being a Reiki master. It's going to teach you a lot of lessons. It really is. And you're going to be able to help a lot of people. 6 is a number of service. So it's a great service here for you. You'll be busy. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's take Sherry. Sherry, where are you, Sherry? Okay, your attitude 3. You are personal day 3. And you are, oh my gosh, are you life path? Yeah. She's life path 3. Okay. Sherry is a 333. I wonder if I've read Sherry before. It's always interesting when you have people who are triples. And so like triples can come out of, so if you're a September baby, you'll always be a double, at least in your birth date. There's also, with the numerology, we're doing quick numerology readings. You know what I mean? So it's like, one, when I have your energy, I could probably talk way longer about you. And then also, I'm only getting 4 calculations that I'm pulling up on, there's hundreds of calculations. I'm not even going into your name. I'm not even going to other aspects of your birthday and your name. Okay. So, but on a tangent there, sorry. But it's always really, really fun when you have a triple. So September babies will give you a double within your numbers. And then if you're born on a 9 year, if you're a September baby, you will have triple numbers in your birthday. And so anytime someone has a triple, they're very much the characteristic of that number. Yes, other numbers, like let's say with what their name is, can either intensify or mute that. But a person who is a 333 is very much 3 energy, and so on and so forth to whatever they're triple in. And so it lets me know that Sherry is a person that likes to make sure other people are having fun. She is quick-witted. She is creative. And she is a person that usually comes in with a smile. And she's a person that others feel comfortable around, okay? Because when someone is a 3, on one hand, they're very lighthearted and fun, but also they are naturally entertaining. And so a 3 is it's like they're a born entertainer. Okay. So the mission of the 3 is to stand up and be noticed, be like, hey, here I am. And you provide somebody with laughter, you uplift them, or you provide somebody with something that changes their energy. Your presence changes their energy. And so it's really important for a 3 to have attention. If they don't have attention within their relationships, because think about it, any entertainer, like I'm just going to give you some big examples like Beyonce or Josh Groban or like Madonna. They're entertainers, or comedians like Chelsea Handler or, Dave Chappelle. In order for them to be successful, they have to be seen and they have to have a crowd's attention on them. So if you're not getting attention in your relationships, that is an issue and that is a problem that needs to be healed. You also have to make sure you're speaking up for yourself. Sometimes when an entertainer is in the mix, they're providing for the people, but if they're not getting their needs met, that's not always talked about because they just want to have kind of good, lighthearted energy. And sometimes they will push aside the heavy topics. They will push aside if there is a problem, and they'll try to heal it or rectify it with keeping things lively or keeping things or people happy. And so I encourage you to make sure you're having the proper attention within your life so you can give back so beautifully to others. You are in a cycle of 9, so this is great. You're in a cycle of 9, and so I always think 9 years are fun. They can be heavy too, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that happen in a 9. You'll find this year quite busy for you, but it's really a chance to make peace with a lot of things that have been going on. Yes, sometimes the cycle of 9 is a change where sometimes loved ones do pass away. Sometimes the cycle of 9 is a closing, a chapter of things, so you can invite in new energy. The great thing is that new energy will be new energy, let's say, that you haven't been able to exactly land or build upon. It could be for 10 or 20 years. When a 9 cycle surfaces, the 9 into the 1, so next year, you'll be finding yourself with a fresh kind of energy, with a motivation, and you'll be accomplishing things that you've had trouble accomplishing for many years. It's almost like the energy just gets easy and opens up. So this year, and especially into next year, very good years for you. Very, very positive and healing years, and very exciting years. And I hope that makes sense years for this year and next year. I hope that makes sense. Okay. That's for Sherry. Okay, Sherry understands. Thank you, thank you. Julie, my second time tuning in. So much personal conflict at this time. Is it going to get better soon? Okay, Julie. Let's pull some cards for you, Julie. Why not? This is an instance of I should just pull some cards. I have them right here. I'm not using them. Okay. So, wow. I got cards to definitely illustrate the situation. So the card going on right now is like, I got the feeler card, and it's upside down. So this is it's a time where morale is not high. It's a time where you really do feel down and overwhelmed and kind of drowning in this feeling is what's surfacing. It feels like no matter what you do, that there's always something more, or no matter what you do, that the shoe is ready to drop. And it just feels like you're not getting the proper support that you need. I do think this is connected to pushing yourself a little bit too much and having I guess I'll say it in a way I hope you can understand, like the expectations that are stacked on yourself are too high. I mean, we have strengths and we have, challenges in our lives, and there's certain things within our lives that life throws us a challenge, and when we're in it, it's okay that it's difficult. It's okay that it's difficult. And what makes a life full is to have these peaks and valleys. And right now you're in the valley of this is difficult, but then you're kind of like being really hard on yourself from the fact that it's difficult, and you want it to be done already. You want the solution already. You want a close to the issues. And so that's what's further overwhelming and drowning the energy. And so I really, really want to encourage you to be compassionate with yourself, even though you feel like maybe that's very, very hard to do it, but be compassionate with the fact that this is just a harder time. You will get through it. And I feel like all you want is just that blank slate again of, for this to just to go away. And it's just like you're pushing yourself too much of when the deadline, I don't know why I'm saying deadline, but you're pushing yourself for all of this to go like, when will this end? When will this end? When will this end? And it's just like, it's going to end. Don't worry. Just like anything in life, turns over and then we start anew. So you will get past this. It's just take care of yourself, self-love, and it will be far less, I'll say the word treacherous. I don't know why I'm saying that word, but be far less treacherous if you are loving yourself through it, going easy on yourself, and knowing like, I can't quite control everything that's happening, and this legitimately is difficult, and I just have to be really compassionate with myself this time. All right. Last thing that I'm going to give to you is I got the spiritual force and knowledge card, and I was asking kind of like, what are the energies that can help? So this time when I get a spiritual force card, it's all about prayer. It's all about connection to God, angels, whatever you find sacred and special. It's time to put your energy that direction, because spiritual force is energy greater than what we could possibly do by ourselves. And with situations that you're experiencing just like this, you got to lean into that energy, because you by yourself, you're pushing yourself too much. You're in a period of difficulty. That's life right now. But if you lean into something greater than yourself, the universe, God, whatever you find sacred, they're going to show you. They're going to give you clues, symbols, signs of how to help heal and how to get you out of this situation a little faster, okay? So it's not about the word faster, but something greater in yourself can ease the process, okay? Can ease the process. And it really comes back to the knowledge of and the skills and tools that you have within how you connect to your spiritual power, okay? That's what's going to sail you out. That's what's going to protect you. And that's when it's going to get you moving forward. So I want to love and give that to you, Julie. And I want to say thank you to everybody. Sherry, everyone's saying happy birthday again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who have come. If I didn't get to you, please stop by and pop down your numbers, or ask a question next week. I always do try to get to everybody, a variety of everyone that I see. And I hope that you had a great time being here. And if you're interested with working with cards, all the cards that I pulled for Julie, cards that I made myself, and I pulled a knowledge card for her, the knowledge and the wisdom from the angels to sustain you and grow you, okay, to give you nourishment. So this is what I pulled for Julie. And if you're curious about card creation and you want to practice and learn with others and have fun, but also learn a lot, stop by and take the card creation class on the 28th or 29th. It'd be great to see you. And thank you again. I will see you on Wednesday for the Psychic Hour interview series. And we'll be having the lovely Khalees Simone on. She's a fantastic psychic medium. Australian psychic medium who is based in New York. So yeah, it'll be really, really interesting to talk to her and her perspective of how she grew into this work. I will see you then, and I will see you again for the reading show on Friday next week. Love, light, luck to you, and don't forget to live, everybody. Take care. Thank you for your